Howdy readers, I'm Jason. This is Chapter and Verse, and I'm going to do a little haul actually right now. So this morning, it's complicated. So alright, so the library opened at 9 this morning, and the bag sale started at 9:30. Well, there's always a line that forms. Even in the dead of winter, there's a line that forms for this thing early. And I wanted to make sure I was in the first batch of people who got in. So I was planning to be at the library, standing in line in the cold at 7:45 this morning. Well, I had really bad heartburn last night that I couldn't kind of get control of for whatever reason. And so I was up quite a bit, about 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I didn't wake Kelly up. I took my book and my iPad out into the living room. And then when it was time for me to return to bed, I left the iPad, which is our alarm clock, out in the living room. So I was planning to get up at 7 a.m. That didn't happen. And so Kelly's the one who woke us up, and it was 7:45. So we were waking up at the time I was planning on being at the library. So I snarfed my breakfast as fast as I could, and yeah, just threw as many clothes on as I could, etc., and you know, layers, coats, hats, blah blah blah, and made it to the library. And I got there just before 8, just a few minutes before 8, and the line was already formed, but I could tell that I was going to be in the first batch, just based on how long the line was. So yeah, it was 25 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 15 degrees with the wind chill. And I took my book and was unable to read my book because it was so damn cold. My hands were frozen. And so I was only able to watch BookTube while standing in line in little snippets because my hands were so cold. But yeah, so I was in line all told for just over an hour and a half. And got into the bag sale and got some goodies. Got 33 books. But only 11 of which Kelly and I are going to keep. The rest we're going to give away to friends, coworkers, and on our channels. So keep your eyes peeled for those. But I just wanted to go through the books with you guys that we're going to keep. So let's do that. So the first one that I picked up is The Old Ways, A Journey on Foot by Robert Macfarlane. And if I remember right, I think Robert Macfarlane writes for The Guardian, and that is where I came across this book. And I was frankly pretty surprised to see it at a library book sale here in Wyoming. But yeah, but it's been on my TBR for a while, so I was really pleased to find this. And just so you guys know, when I pick up books at a library bag sale, I only grab them if they're in really good shape. Like, you know, I want no creasing, I want no writing inside, I want no broken spines, nothing. Like, they have to be really beautiful. So, and that's not just the books that I'm planning on keeping myself. That's books that I give away to people too. So all of those books will be given away on our channels are going to be in really good shape, except for one. One's a little, it's just old. It's not beaten up or anything. It's got a lot of shelf wear. But anyway. The next book is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. If any of you guys have read any of these books, please let me know in the comments what you think of them. But this has been on my TBR for a while, and I was just really pleased to find a really beautiful paperback copy of it. And next, The Painted Drum by Louise Erdrich. We own a lot of Louise Erdrich, and we really love her books, but we didn't have this one yet, and so I thought, why not? Why not grab it? But yeah, as you can see, I mean, it's like it's never even been read, and that's what I look for when I go to used book sales. And this is a book by a writer named Craig Childs, who I haven't read yet, but we own. I was supposed to have read one of his books in a class in graduate school, but I just did not get to it. And we have another book of his called The Animal Dialogues, which I've heard just praised to the skies by a couple of friends of mine. But I saw this one there by him, and it is called House of Rain, Tracking a Vanished Civilization Across the American Southwest. And that's what that looks like. Yeah, but he's just supposed to be one hell of a nature writer. Just one hell of a writer about landscape and environment, man's relationship to the natural world. And I thought this just sounded fabulous. It's like it just came off the shelf at Barnes & Noble, so can't go wrong. And then this one is one I have been wanting for a long, long time. And so I was just tickled to find a copy that was in perfect condition. And this is the Yiddish Policeman's Union by Michael Chabon, better known for The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, I believe it is, for which he won the Pulitzer Prize. So, but I think he actually won the Hugo Award for this. Maybe the Hugo and the Nebula. My phone's going crazy over there, but this is not going to tell me. And then this is a book I've mentioned on the channel before that I've read bits of, but never the whole thing. But we didn't own it, and they had a gorgeous edition of it there. So that is The Solace of Open Spaces by Gretel Ehrlich, a Wyoming writer. And then this is one that has been on my TBR for a while, and I actually just saw it discussed on Jen Campbell's channel the other day. She did a video about disability, representations of disability in fiction. Anyway, this is The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. And yeah, I think it just looks beautiful, sounds fabulous. So really pleased to find a hardcover of this in perfect shape. And then this might have been the best find of the day, actually. Celia is going to love that I found this. But I found in, again, perfect condition. I don't know where these books come from sometimes. Like, who has these and who decides to part with these in Casper, Wyoming? Like, who in Casper, Wyoming owned this? But I'm glad that they decided they didn't want it anymore, so it could be mine. But I found Tina Nunnally's translation of Jenny by Sigrid Undset, and it's in beautiful, beautiful condition. And this is a novel I have been wanting to read for donkey's years, and I love Francine Prose's mind. I have yet to read any of her books, but I've read a lot of her kind of criticism and her kind of opinion writing in newspapers, and I just think that she's a really super brave intellectual. There was this whole controversy a couple of years back with the Penn Foundation, and she came down on the side of the controversy that I found myself sympathetic with. It was very much the dissenting side of the controversy. But yeah, I thought she was one of many very, very brave writers to take the stand that she did. Peter Carey was among them as well, Michael Ondaatje. But anyway, this is Blue Angel by Francine Prose. And just a couple more. Here is a biography I have almost bought in trade paperback. God, I don't know how many times. A dozen times. I found a hardcover of it. And the only problem is it's got like a little, like just a little kind of roughness at the top of the dust jacket there. But that's the only thing that's wrong with this. And this here is a biography of Teresa of Avila. Teresa of Avila, The Progress of a Soul by Kathleen Medwick. I think I've seen this featured on Johnny Keene's channel, actually. And then the last one I got is a novel that I've been wanting to read forever. And it's a beautiful hardcover, perfect condition. And I don't know too much about it. The design of the book is pretty fabulous as well. But it's called John Saturnal's Feast by Lawrence Norfolk. I'd be particularly curious to know if any of you have read this, and if you have, what you think of it. But if you look inside, so the end papers inside just have these beautiful designs as well. It's set in early 17th century England. So anyhow, that was mine and Kelly's portion of the haul from the library bag sale this morning. I'm going to spend the rest of the day doing chores and responding to comments. I've been quite delinquent in that here the last few days. And for that I apologize. But yeah, I'm going to try to get all of those responses to comments kind of plowed through this weekend. And yeah, and then I'm just going to spend the rest of the day, I think, just hunkered down and reading. It's kind of trying to snow here. We're supposed to get a little bit of snow overnight. We were planning to travel this weekend, but the area to which we were going to be traveling they're supposed to get like 3 inches of snow overnight tonight. So, meaning the roads will likely be icy in the morning. And Jason doesn't drive on icy interstates anymore. I used to have less problem doing that, but then I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, something like that, Kelly and I went to see one of our families in the wintertime, and the road report said that the roads were slick in spots. And so I was like, all right, that's better than what they were. Yeah, the Department of Transportation's definition of slick in spots is different than mine. And that was a harrowing journey. I will never forget that road trip. And it probably took 2 months off my life. I would say 25% of the gray hair that you see on my face came from that 2.5 hour drive. So I don't do it anymore. If there's any chance that on the trip there or the trip back that the roads are going to be slick at all, we don't do it. Yeah, life is too short. And if you do that, life may be way too short. Thanks for watching, as always. And yeah, thanks for subscribing. I am like 1 or 2 people away, I think, from 600 subscribers now. It's taken me a lot longer to get from 500 to 600 than I thought it would. I'm not sure why that is, why it has slowed down so much, why I've had so many more people unsubscribing to my channel over the last couple of months, but that has been the case, and that's fine. So I will possibly see you guys again tomorrow, but if I don't, know that I will see you again very soon. Adios.